you there? Yo, morning guys, morning. Just getting situated. Gotta share all these shits to my socials and whatnot. You said you're gonna throw my stream up on your ecom class? That's wavy. F that class. That econ class not making you money. You had to spend money to be in that class. I'm kidding. But appreciate you tuning in though. I'll get to it real quick. Just gotta get these like social media links shared and do all this extra shit I honestly don't even care about, but I know it's good for the business. So we'll do that. I honestly don't uh it's hard for me to figure out how people like do social media so often. It's so taxing and so it's honestly fucking annoying, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like not a social media person whatsoever. Alright. The promo, everything is fucking done, finally. I can actually get back to the charts. Okay, let's see what we got. So, yesterday, guys, yesterday was a fucking death day. I'm not gonna lie, like, this was the range. This was the range yesterday. And actually, during the open, it was actually, believe it or not, it was an inside day. But then once we actually came down and broke down the quote unquote outside gap, um, what's happened is it actually came all the way down. And if we zoom in a little bit more, right? We zoom in a little bit more. Look at this. This thing is actually filling the gap from the open, right? That I believe it's the Sunday open. Sunday futures open. Um, there's a gap, right? So there's that, and then there's this gap here. So at some point, I did expect something like this, because there's a bunch of draws of liquidity here, here. It came all the way down yesterday, and then this morning it kind of bounced into it filled the gap a little, created liquidity levels. Then of course there were some equal lows, right? Equal lows formed, and so it's been taken. And so if price comes down here, it'll officially fill the gap, right? So now, to me, what this is telling me is that, you know, effectively there's like no edge or no draw of liquidity. It could go up after this. Um, it's just super important to watch, to be honest, and I will be watching right now on the 1 minute since we've opened. Um, and in the meantime, what I'm gonna do as well is um I'm gonna do the other like regions or the ranges as well. On the 5 minute, it's way more evident, right? So SPY did, yeah, SPY on futures, or sorry, futures ES also filled the gap just now, from its Sunday open. All right, so in the meantime, let's go back a little bit in time and let's point out some liquidity levels, right? So, well, hold on, I like those yellow levels. That's the gap. Okay, so also, is there any news today? Let me check real quick. Okay, there was news this morning at 8:30. What was that news like? It wasn't super impactful actually. Okay. So yesterday comes out. Yesterday started 6 p.m. right here. Okay, 6, 6, 12, 12 to 6 a.m. Okay. So there's going to be some levels or some highs and lows you want to take advantage of here. Of course, the low has actually already been marked, right? Which has already been taken. Um, so Asian low has actually already been taken, right? Similarly, the Asian high as well has already been taken. And honestly, this is like a classic kind of silver bullet situation without it being in the silver bullet hour. The reason is because you'll see that there's an upper level liquidity grab, comes down. Eventually price expands all the way down, right, towards this level of liquidity. So if you really take a look, whenever you have the market structure shift, um, there's some FEGs as well. Although price didn't end up retracing on the 5 minute, on the 1 minute, I think you could get a little bit better entries. I'm just trying to figure out if there's large FEGs that allowed, some entries for price, but I don't really see any. It's more so like a dump. Um, so let me just go back and get the other ranges. Okay. And then so since this is the London session, in the London session we took the Asian high, and in the meantime we've actually formed a new London high, right? And similarly, this is in the London session, so you're going to see a London low as well. So right now we have all time frames down. Before 10 a.m., right? Before 10 a.m., we have a major liquidity grab, right? Which is effectively this gap. I'll try to move and kind of highlight it here. So this right here, I'm gonna box this up. So you see how price has filled this gap on futures? You know what I'm saying? Like, what we're looking at here is price has actually returned inside the gap, and so now we're kind of looking at a reaction. We want to see where price goes from here. It's approaching like 15 minutes till around like uh 10 a.m. or so, and I believe this is like some kind of ADR range, so there might be a bounce for sure, just because we've had price fill in on the whole range entirely. And so for me, like I would say, okay, even if there are orders here, they're sort of like they've already been kind of filled in a sense. They've already been filled on a buyer's level because we tried entering here and then we had so much buying power come in. Since entering again and taking the other liquidity levels, seems like those orders have effectively dried up, right? Which is effectively why price is continuing to move down because there's no orders left in the gap for price to be saved. That's also why we're seeing a lot of down on the time frame as well. So I just want to take a look at really what's happening here. There are larger FVGs um, that you can take here. Do I want to take it? I mean, kinda. Is there an entry here? Um, Not yet. But if we were to take an entry, I think it would be nice here because um, you can take a entry there and then you're short. It's a little risky. I'm not gonna lie. It's quite risky. So what we can do is we can just put the stop right there around 30 points and then aim for it all the way to the downside. This would get you to another level of liquidity, I hope. But honestly, like anything under here is kind of like free fall zone, to be honest. And I think we might end up interacting with that, but we'll see. This is on the 5 minute here. I want to see if I can get an entry. There is an entry here. I might just take it. Um, might do it small or might just do a full position. We'll try to do full position for now. Um, and I'm okay with my stop, to be honest. It's right outside the FVG. If it doesn't get respected, then it's okay. I'm expecting price to eventually come down here towards these levels of liquidity, which is why I'm positioning myself this way. So we'll see. I mean, right now price has definitely closed inside. If this candle doesn't close inside, I probably will cancel and cut my loss straight because I would love a candle to close outside as a rejection. Right now we're not getting that, so I don't know if I really want to stay in this trade too long, but we'll figure it out and let it play out. I have a stop to protect myself with price above the FVG, so I'm hoping that price does respect it and we get some sort of downside. In this case, it didn't really happen. I did get stopped out once here. So now I'm just going to wait because I think this is sort of like a change of character or like a change of market structure. So we'll see. So looks like it filled the gap and it looks like it's, kind of prices respected that. I don't necessarily want um, a huge downside at the moment. I just want to see where price ends up, kind of, how can I say, ends up spelling itself out for me. Just because I think right now this could be considered a market structure shift, a liquidity grab here, and that we see a lot of downside here. Similarly, this could be a liquidity grab where we actually have a market structure shift, and then price retraces, and I'm able to effectively take a trade as well. So just want to be in mind, and while this candle closes, this also might be FVG as well. So yeah, and just for record, I did get stopped out of one trade. So if I do get stopped out another, I probably will not trade more, just because I want to keep my losses at a minimum. And at the end of the day, like if I'm losing two trades in a row, just like back to back, like really fast, then probably has to do with my entries. In this case, I got pretty much immediately stopped out. I'm not really too worried about that because I kind of set my stop to a place where I expected it. So yeah, that's really it. Which was right above this level, which I'm okay with. So what I'm seeing now is I think what we should do is probably mark some liquidity on the 1 hour here. So on the 1 hour here, you'll see like it's kind of still majorly a downtrend. We just want to see if this downtrend actually continues, and we don't really have a confirmation as of now because we made a new low. Um, we'll figure it out in like 7 minutes or so. But this if this comes above this blue line on the hourly, this will flip. This like a market structure shift. Yeah, I mean there might be an H forming. It's on the 5 minute, so I don't really want to take it with too much weight. I'm just looking on the 5 minute just so I can like plan an entry out if I do want to take it. As of now, I'm just seeing mixed signals between this FVG that's kind of somehow being respected. Um, and then this price here. So that's why I'm kind of just waiting for candles to close. Like I want to see where candles close. Do we get candles close above the blue line, which is the London low, or do we come back down and reach for this liquidity? I don't really know at the moment. And my initial guess was we went down and we go for the lower levels of liquidity. But of course, like when I positioned myself for that, I immediately got stopped out. So that's what I thought. But obviously, it's not panning out the way I think it would have, but it's okay. At the end of the day, like you can have what your expectations is and all that stuff, but a lot of this stuff is about being adaptable and flexible as well. Um, so okay, now we see like a confirmation to the upside, right? And now we might start to see some market structure shifts here. This FVG, um, this FVG is kind of showing its hand to me at the moment. So at the moment, I probably want to take a look at some 1 minute entries and try to position myself from there. Price has kind of moved up to a point. I think right now we might go for upper levels of liquidity in terms of targeting since we filled uh, Sunday's or Monday's futures gap. There was an entry right here. I'm just going to keep waiting patiently and just see if I can get another entry as well because I'm seeing an entry here as well. This FVG. I would love for this to price to retrace into it and I could take it. Yeah, these are FVGs on the 1 minute. I'm just effectively waiting for price to retrace into it if it does happen. If I were to go to upside, I'd target all levels of liquidity. FVG, VG, fair value gap. So huge bounce. Um, yeah, huge bounce. Mixed time frames, which is kind of what you want to see on the upside. Uh, and so now I'm seeing price kind of. Honestly, I'm seeing it escape from me. I haven't seen a re-entry or an opportunity to get an entry here yet. So I'm just gonna wait patiently. I definitely know where I want to be, but I just want price to calm down and maybe settle down a little, and then that way I could, you know, probably try to secure an entry. And um, if not, it's okay. And I'm being cautious because I already got stopped out of one, so I'm not necessarily like just trying to hop in and just like make myself back some money. It's a little bit it's a little bit more real than that. I just want to take a look at some of the high if I want to put the. Okay, so now effectively, if I can get any entry below this 450 level, this level right here, I'm just gonna mark it in line. If I can get any entry at this level, then that's like super ideal entry conditions here, which makes sense. Yeah, I mean price definitely might run up without me, which is a little sad, but I hope there's an entry for me. Because I kind of know that we're gonna go for the Asian and London high, or at least at the minimum the London high. It's just this right here. This right here was the 1 minute sort of entry. I just wasn't willing to take it immediately since we didn't have confirmations yet above this line. Now that we do have confirmation above this line, I would really love for price to come down real quick, just one time for your boy. Just one time. I actually don't even have the music on and shit like that. That's crazy. Come on, y'all, don't be so selfish. Give me an entry. Don't be so selfish. So what you're seeing right now is check out price approach this level. There's 2 wicks here. There's 3 wicks. I'm seeing some sort of resistance or rejection here. Um, and maybe price doesn't want to go up entirely right now. We'll see. But just gotta keep in mind here a bunch of one candles, and now we have a huge breakout candle here. And it is approaching the silver bullet hour. It is 10, so we could find an entry. I'm just gonna mark this FVG as well. Now this FVG I'm not necessarily too interested in. It's really huge. Um, and if price comes above here, it's like really close to already the liquidity levels I'm targeting. So I don't necessarily want to find an entry there. I mean, maybe I could pull the trigger and lower my risk. Just not into it. I would love for price to come revisit this bigger FVG here, but we'll let it play out. We'll see. Okay, there's your entry here. Maybe I should just take it. I did enter I did enter it once again. I'm keeping my stop pretty small. I'm betting that this candle turns into an FVG. If it doesn't, like right now, then I might just take out. But it looks like to me it's respecting it at the moment. But where there's no actual FVG that's been formed right now. I think my entry might be a little late here too. We'll see. Yeah, there is no FVG on this 1 minute, by the way. It's not a good entry, but uh, maybe I get saved by 5 minute here, but not a good entry, I don't think. We'll kind of manage the risk as is. We made a lot of decent money like last 2 days, so it's also reason why I'm like kind of risk on. I've seen some sort of like, situations where I think the upside's going to be taken no matter what, and I can get a little bit risky or like a little bit kind of sloppy with my entries, um, so to speak. But that's just me. Ideally, I probably wouldn't have entered because the mistake there was I effectively bet that FVG was going to form, and then in the last couple seconds it didn't form, right? So like my entry model didn't actually exist. So I think I was just being too hesitant there. Um, we might get stopped here. Uh, More so concerned about this this price kind of maintaining itself and making sure, or at least at the minimum, we take this high, and then I can maybe move my stop. Um, and then also the next highs would be like, probably here. And then, of course, the Asian high. That's only on the 1 minute. And we'll see that we didn't even approach this high on the 5 minute yet. So we're just going to wait. Now, on this 5 minutes, if this thing like comes confirms like a shooting star kind of candle, I definitely probably just going to take myself out early. I don't want to hold into a shooting star and it comes down. There's just no point. We'll wait till 30 seconds. I might stop out here if it's a shooting star kind of candle. Or hammer, or whatever you want to call it. I know hammer's on the upside, or like coming on the upside when it's bottom, but on the 5 minute it doesn't look super good. I just want to see how this candle confirms. Okay. I mean, it's not the worst candle here. It's not really good though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really like it that much. A bunch of ones, and then there's like a two on downside. I don't really necessarily think it's something worth holding. I think we are gonna get a re-entry on this kind of stop here, so we'll see. Damn, it just got so choppy just now after 10. Perhaps there's news or something that okay, 10:30 we're waiting for some news. I don't know how that's gonna go. On the 5 minute we look bad. We look bad, I'm not gonna lie. On the 1 minute we look like we're consolidating. It doesn't look good on the 5 though. I'm not super convinced. I'm not sure why there's so much consolidation here. I might just be stopped out pretty soon here. Kind of just keeps making new lows without making new highs. On the 1 minute at least, but just by tick, you know? What a drag, honestly. Just holding a losing position. This thing is not. I probably even should have been in to be honest, but here I think we're just gonna get stopped here within like 50 cents or so. Yeah, there we go. There's your short. Um, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wait for the real entry here. All right, I re-entered because it's now approaching where I actually wanted to enter. It's my third trade of the day. I did get stopped out twice pretty fast. So if it doesn't happen this trade, I'm probably just gonna maintain myself, and kind of like not do anything and just chill on my hands. Because even though I have sort of the right direction here, I'm like not necessarily convinced. And of course, now we're seeing a really nice entry and really nice moves, right? So. That's pretty funny. I'm just going to move my stop just so I maintain a certain level of profit on here. And then that way I don't, just give back all the gains that I'm seeing right now. Um, and I kind of had this in mind already. It just didn't happen the time I wanted to. So at least to an extent, what I can do is just hold my position right now, and I can just bet that uh, price is not going to come back into like this FVG area. You know what I'm saying? So effectively, I'm not like super risking a ton. Um, I just don't want price to actually enter this area. And if it does, it does, it's okay, but I'm not necessarily looking to trade into it. And so I just got stopped out 3 times already. I think I'm actually done for the day. Um, price can definitely come in up here. I just don't see myself being able to time this correctly. I have an expectation where price should be coming up towards the upside. I just am not. I think I'm being way too hasty and just like not waiting for my right entry here. Ideally I wanted to enter here, but it is what it is. And really, what we're betting on is effectively this FVG holding. Is it gonna hold? I don't know. Um, it is what it is now. I just got one contract on. I'm not necessarily um like too interested in this movement today. Like getting stopped out 3 times should be more like of a sign. You know what I'm saying? It should be more of a sign to be like, okay, maybe you should chill and not do anything right now. Um, and yeah, it happens. I'm not too worried about it. If I was worried about it, I wouldn't stream. But that's effectively what happens. I think today was not a good day in terms of like my positioning. Like just really hasty and trying to force a lot of the stuff that I didn't want to. Like, I could have just waited until like 10 more minutes and gotten the entry I wanted here, you know what I'm saying? And so because I'm because like I didn't wait to get the entry I wanted. I think it was forcing me to just like trade what I saw on the screen, which is not letting me make good decisions. It's probably why I held like it's probably why I bought at the top or around the top, and then we got a little gain, and then effectively I got dumped on, right? So that to me is like telling me, okay, that right there is not a super good entry, and definitely could be better. Again, I'm just gonna move my stop here. I'm like on my technically I'm on my fourth trade, but I risked down, and now ironically, you know, just to my irony, it's going up now, and I'm up almost 30 ticks here. Uh, so we're just gonna adjust the stop in a little bit, but yeah, it's a nice move up. I was actively waiting for this whole move the whole time. I just never got it. So we're just gonna move my stop right below this FVG, and then every time we get a new up candle, we'll move it up. So I am taking a little bit gain back, and I am removing my loss a little bit here. But tomorrow we'll get back, and we'll probably gain back the whole thing. So that's just the nature of it. We kind of had an idea, and I know I had a plan to trade the upside. Um, and I want to really see a new high here, to be honest. Um, and so I had a plan to kind of like trade the upside here. It just like kind of, I mean, it did not happen. It's just my stops were not like, I guess, risky enough for me to like withhold the whole thing. I'm just trying to protect my downside. And you'll see I'm up like 43 ticks, 40 ticks now. Pretty beautiful, to be honest. And we're just going to move there. Okay, cool. So I just secured 40 ticks on that trade, just because I wanted to get out of it and secure my profit. I was down like 2 or 3 trades from this morning, so it's a nice consolidation price. Um, but yeah, you'll see now. Um, it's touching the levels that we already targeted. I already targeted like I entered here around here, so I already targeted like um, this level eventually. It's just the execution today wasn't. I guess I wasn't patient enough, you know what I'm saying? There's not really an excuse. It's just like I just being a fiend because I saw the move. I saw this move like this move specifically I saw from like pretty much a mile away, which is what I wanted to capture because I know it's going to be like 40 to 50 ticks or so. But you know, just like I couldn't like hold my hands, just like fiending for the gains. So eventually what actually happened was that it got me clapped up on 2 positions, so I'm still down like a whole position pretty much. Tomorrow we'll probably try to make it back. Um, but yeah, not too worried, but definitely the execution was. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty trash. Um, but that fib level. Remember I told you guys. Remember I showed you that fib level of that high and low just now. I'll show you again. So here's the fib level, right? I'm going to high to low. Where is the point 0.5 or the 50% level? Well, it's right here, right? And this 50% level is also within this FVG. And so what you'll see is that price actually touched this 50% level twice, and this is your entry here, perfect entry, and then you could have just really just gotten the new high there. So that was the silver bullet in my opinion, and it could probably go more, assuming you're just moving your risk, you're moving your stop up. But yeah, and also how many dollars is one tick? One tick comes out to like $12. So 4 ticks is like $50 on ES. So getting 40 ticks, getting 40 ticks is nice. It's like around $1,000. But I just showed you guys like before that, before I gained 40 ticks, I just showed you guys like me losing like three to $500 on 2 trades. So it's like I did make $1,000, but I'm still down a couple hundred. So um, we'll get back to it. Tomorrow I'm sure we'll be profitable again. But yeah, today was kind of rough. Like pretty hard price action. Ideally, the best window would have been this entry, and then you just would have been in a dream scenario pretty much. But that entry was 1 minute, and in my opinion, just a couple seconds. So it's not like kind of had to be on your feet for that one. So I think tomorrow I'll be more prepared, and I'll just try to really figure out what my level is and stick to it. Because what I did was I put it at a level. I said this is a dream scenario. Then I begged for price to retrace into it, and I was already in the trade before price retraced into it. So why is that, right? What is the mentality or the logic there? Well, the first issue, right, is that myself, like I had some expectation or something that price never wasn't like I had expectation that price wasn't going to retrace to me. I don't know why I have that. I don't know why I had the expectation today. It's just like I guess when I was looking at it, price was just moving so up, so powerful after filling the gap that like I just thought price was gonna move away from me. So you know, it is what it is. But um, next time tomorrow, I'll definitely won't be a fiend. I will definitely have better execution because I was able to secure like almost 40 ticks there, but it didn't really matter. So it's like I'm not even break even. I'm actually at loss. So it's like I wish I just was a little bit more patient, but wishing doesn't get you anywhere. Tomorrow we're just gonna be actionable and we're gonna be a better trader. So, it is. I did have like two green days yesterday, so that's why I was like more risk prone today. But now we're seeing that my risk prone has gotten me to a point where I have no gains to show for this week. So now I gotta really clean it up or at least break even to actually make this worth my while. And now, to nobody's surprise, we're seeing that move, right? We'll let this play out for another 10 minutes just so I can feel some pain, you know what I'm saying? Like just really uh like admire not only the price movement but to understand how much of a idiot I took myself out of my trade for, but it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta be real, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta look at yourself and be like, my brother, you are a fuckhead. That's really what you gotta tell yourself. Yeah. Sorry guys, I know we were expecting a little bit better entry, but we'll be back tomorrow. And for those joining, um, I'm better than that. Yeah, I mean, definitely that was my target. My target is Asian highs and London highs, so I'm expecting this to actually just touch this like before end of day. Now, like, do I have any guarantee that price is gonna do this before the end of day? No, I don't. I don't know if price is gonna do that, but I know that this thing needs to be touched. That's all I know. So that's why I was trying to uh, structure a trade around that. And that's where the fibs is telling me like this right here is the God entry. This is the super God entry right here. Because it's the only entry that you could have taken where there is a proper retracement. Every other retracement, or there is no other retracement because aside from this one right here on the 1 minute. So like if you were to look at this like live, there is no other entry besides this one. To be honest, like on the most realist entry I can expect. This is the only entry that you should have taken here. If I could like rewind time. Obviously, I'm a human and I did some stupid mistakes today. So tomorrow will be better. And we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait. Let's have faith in our edge. It works. All the price does do what we say and what we do. It's not about us. It's not about our levels. It's not even about our planning. It's just about our shithole mentality and like just being a fiend for money. Stop being a fiend and let the money come to you. The money will come. That's like a mental note for myself, but anyone that's watching. Yeah, we'll let it go run like 10 minutes or so. I got clapped on AMD puts. Words of wisdom. Let me ask you something. When did you buy those puts? Did you buy those puts at the open? Um, what was your expectation for those puts? Did you swing the puts and not sell and go up? I can definitely share some words of wisdom, but what I would love is the context about those puts. Because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna give you back your money, which sucks to hear, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, here, brother, you're forgiven. You made a mistake. That's not how that works. What you have to do is you actually have to hold yourself accountable and be like, figure out the reasons you made idiot decisions. And so if you consider like you selling puts or you taking a loss on your put an idiot decision, you need to figure out what actually made you make that decision in the first place. And so the thing is that like let's say you got clapped, right? And let's say you just lost that position entirely. My first question is, what's the expiry? What was your expectation for the trade? What went wrong? Were you holding too much? Did you think you were just going to get an easy win and risk your whole portfolio and then just like wake up tomorrow being a millionaire? And I'm not saying that to be condescending or like demeaning. What I'm trying to say is that these are like real expectations or like real thoughts that people actually have, even though they sound dumb. Even though they sound dumb, like we're talking about it right now, it's not dumb. It's real. You understand? It's not like I I just showed you. Obviously, like me losing money on the stream doesn't do anything for my business, right? Like it doesn't it doesn't do anything for Teach Trade. It doesn't make me look good as an instructor, and it doesn't even make me look good as a trader in general. Anyone could be watching this one day, like I shared on my Instagram, so people could come here on the first day and saw I lost a little bit of money, and so they could be like, "Well, this guy's a fucking clown," you know what I'm saying? This guy is this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And so what I want to say is this: as a trader, you're not defined by your one trade. And you are human. So your emotions, your environment, your upbringing, your relationship about money, with money, has everything to do with the decisions you make. And so like a lot of times it's unpacking, a lot of times it's like pointing yourself and holding accountable. So you bought you bought puts at the close. Uh you bought puts at close to open and you held a little while losing. And I'm stubborn about the holding part. It screws me. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened just now. So if you wanted to make a clear-headed decision and you bought at the open, your open is here. And I'm not looking at AMD. I'm just looking at SPY because I know AMD is held within SPY. And so what probably happened was you were chasing price was dumping, and then eventually you got reversed on. You got reversed on. You got reversed on. So the first question for you, right? The first question for you is if you got clapped, is that let's say you lost, you enter here, okay? Let's say you enter here, and then you enter for like $1,000, and you're like, okay, I'm gaining, I'm gaining, I'm gaining, I'm gaining. I don't want to sell yet, and then I'm losing money, I'm losing money, I'm losing money. Let me ask you something. Ask yourself this: how much money do you need to lose for you to be wrong in your head? Do you understand what I'm saying? And that right there is effectively going to tell you everything you did wrong or right with managing your trade. Because let's say you said, well, I only need like $100 or $200 to tell me I'm wrong with the trade. And so for me, I actually kind of resonate with your issue as well because I used to be the guy that held 0 days just to expiry. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to lose all the money. And if I'm right, then I'm going to be baller. And so what happened was that after I made this ultimatum, I was just wrong like so many times, right? And I just held like full positions to zero. So what the issue was is that I was taking more losses than I needed to, and I wasn't padding those losses with more wins. And so effectively, I had like no edge, right? Like I wasn't following any plan or anything like that. And so the idea here is that first off, like you held, you held. You have to set a point or set a point on the chart or set a point on the contract where you said, if it goes at this price, I'm done. No way, Jose. I'm not staying in. And what you have to understand is that if you can't do that manually, it's okay if you can't. You're going to have to make that not your problem, and you're going to have to remove the problem entirely. So how you remove that manual problem entirely is you automate your stops. You trail your stops. When you're in profit, you trail your profit. That way, every time it turns against you, you still take the profit. There has to be a whole mental adjustment with how you're approaching the market and how you're risking. Because if you're getting clapped and you're just getting full reversed on, there should be like 10 candles or like one or two candles that could have probably saved you like 60 to 80% of that pain. And I can tell you that with confidence without looking at your portfolio, without looking at your contract, without even asking or knowing anything about you. I can just say that with confidence just because I think I've been in the same shoes or like very similar situation. So my interpretation is that your risk management is really bad, and it's not something that you need to continue to trade without. You need to select clear boundaries to what is needs to happen and what you need to risk. Now, look, I'll be real. Whatever I said into the market, whatever I said was going to happen, it happened, right? My prediction was effectively correct. And I only had this many candles to work with. As soon as I saw this price, as soon as I saw this FVG, I said, okay, price is going to go way up, right? Now, I knew that. I had a prediction, and I still didn't execute correctly, right? So now, I'm coming in with like 2 red trades on the day. So how am I so confident? How can I come back next day and approach it and put myself in a better position, right? And so now, my answer to that is because I have my risk defined, I don't, if you notice, like, I don't even manually fix my risk to reward that much unless I'm really want to tie down to one below a certain level. But other than that, when I put my orders in, I have a risk to reward defined. And so because I have a risk to reward defined, um, it's like, how can I say? It's like, um, it's kind of like I know what I'm getting into every time. I'm not chasing price or doing anything. If I do chase price, I have a boundary. So my question, so my fine, I just ranted for like I don't know, like 10 minutes or so. But my final question for you is that I think you need to step back on a higher level view, and I think you need to assess what your portfolio is, how much you're willing to risk per trade, and then figure out how many times you can actually have losing trades in a row where you're not going to be affected or your portfolio is not going to be affected because your edge will eventually carry you through. For me, like if I have like 10 to 11 trades wrong in a row, I think I'll probably get wiped out pretty completely. So I don't have a lot of room for to work with. It's just because my risk is a little bit more higher sometimes. That could easily be if I just turn down like 2 contracts. Those 10 trades in a row could be 30, right? I could afford to lose like 30 in a row. But of course, my risk for each trade is way lower, and it's scaled. It's scaled to a lower unit. Now, the thing is that um, when I risk, like I told you like my edge, I think it allows for like 10 to 11 losses in a row, um, without a ton of adjustment, and then you can maintain a profit with that, right? But there was a week where I made like 13 or 14 trades, and I completely like blew up my portfolio at the time, or not really portfolio, but like however much I spent opening that futures account, right? So I just blew it. So I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like my edge just got fucked up, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that that same edge that I got fucked up on, I've also made quite a bit of money, and I've kind of turned it into a relatively reoccurring monthly income, right? Where I'm tracking my weeks, I'm tracking my individual trades. And so when that happens, like it's a sign. It's a sign that it's not the market, it's not the edge, it's not the strategy, it's about the way you're taking your trades. It's about your execution. It's about your mentality in terms of how you're looking at the money. It's about your risk to reward, right? If you are expecting a large range to be traded into, then you probably want to risk more, right? And if you want to risk more, then it means that you only have a couple trades left in your portfolio. So what does that mean? It means that your trade frequency is probably going to be really, really small. You know what I'm saying? And so if that's the case, then you're going to need to, kind of do some self analysis here. So you're building a small port, you made some strong gains, and then you lost them. Now you're back to a starting point. Okay, that's fine. You couldn't hold on to your gains. That's fine. I had a trouble with that too. Try to figure out what is making those wins last, whether it's you're having big wins or you're having small wins over a certain period amount of time. And if you're having small wins over a certain period amount of time, then you need to start figuring out how to make those small wins more consistent. It could be refining your setup, it could be trading on certain days. Figure out why you're losing in the first place. The way you're going to figure out why you're losing is if you journal for 2 to 3 weeks, you'll see your habits really unfold in front of you, and you'll figure out what you do and why you're so hasty. The reason why I can kind of like psychoanalyze myself even after like taking a trade or after losing a trade is because I've journaled myself for weeks, like even prior to streaming or teach trade or anything like that. I've just journaled myself, and I have sprints of the years where I just journal because I feel like I need to refine myself, or I'm forgetting some of the stuff I learned. Um, and so what happens when you journal is that over a serious amount of trades, like let's say 10 to 20 trades, you will actually start to see patterns as to what's making you take losses. And once you remove those patterns, once you take losses, that's when you actually start to see those gains in your portfolio. And what's crazy is those gains are not even going to feel like something you need to cheer for. It's not even going to feel euphoric. It's going to feel like this is where you should have been all along. You should have been like your attitude is going to be like I should have been doing this the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I should have known this the first day I traded. That's what your attitude is going to be like. So I know it's corny. I know everyone gives you it's not corny, but it's cliche. I know everyone gives you advice, but literally focus. And every time you take a trade, win or lose, sit down personally, whether it's on a journal, or Google Docs, or your laptop or notes, even on your phone section on your notes. Like, bro, actually figure out what made you lose. It could literally be as simple as I wasn't feeling that good today. You know, to me, this market was perfect. This was a market setup. This setup was perfect for me, right? I should have been a one trade, one and done type of guy, and I would have been done for the day. But my emotions and my willingness and my what's it called? Like my eagerness to get into the market effectively clouded my decision because it made me think that price wasn't going to retrace, even though that's exactly what it did 10 minutes later. It's like I literally predicted it and I'm still doubting myself. So what I want to tell you is that everyone has these issues. Like it's not just you. Every trader has these issues, and these traders will ebb and flow. It's not every trader is perfect. Some traders just get on point and get on top of their shit and they know what to do. And sometimes they get in the zone where they can just feel the market. Today, I actually had that feeling where I actually did feel the market was going to do exactly what I thought it was going to do. And to an extent it did. It's just I wasn't able to capitalize off that just because of my pre predisposition thoughts that I had. So more so, it's more so like myself problem, right? And of course, if it's psychological, if it's ingrained, these changes are not going to happen overnight. Like that's also why I want to trade. I try to trade day to day because I want to show people those small micro adjustments we make every day. Every day we should make a change, we make an adjustment. Every day we try to get a little bit better because eventually at the end game, like as an end game, when you're 5, 10, 15 years down the line, you should already be, making a good amount of money. Like these things should be coming naturally, and the only thing that you're managing is your scale and how much money you're putting in. Another thing is that you can say, I use a large percentage of my portfolio on the trade. That's fine. You can lose a large percentage. You just have to understand your risk, right? So, for example, you have $600 and you're risking $200 per each trade. That means effectively you have three trades before you wipe yourself out completely. Now, people will do that because the first trade they'll mess up on their execution, the second trade they'll just get reversed on, and the third trade they missed the entry, so they chased it and then they got reversed on and then they got stopped out. And so now only after three trades you are like effectively wiping yourself out of your portfolio, right? And so if you're wiping yourself out of the portfolio in three trades, it's probably telling you, like the market's probably telling you, you probably need to take more trades, and you probably need to risk less, just so you can figure out, like, out of 10 trades, how much are you actually winning? If you are actually winning only 20 or 30% of the trades, it's okay. It means that you just have to risk small and burn through those 7 or 8 bad trades to get to the 2 good trades that's going to keep you afloat. If you maintain a 50 or 60% win rate, or a pretty high one like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 is a positive, really big gain, then it's okay to size up, but you have to have the expectation, right? You can't just flip flip flop. And by the way, guys, I wanted to just run this stream just so we have it on record. We did run the London high after touching this gap, which is exactly what I said. Um, not really. It's not really an ego trip. It'd be more of an ego trip if I was able to execute. But I just want to let you guys know that it's kind of like a realistic aspect of trading where you know, you have an expectation, it happens, you get the entry, and still, still your trades don't go in your favor, right? And so what is that example of? That's an example of how easy it is to lose money day trading. That's an example of how easy you can be wrong. And so if so many factors are in favor of you being wrong, then you need to account for that in your risk management. Do you understand? So yeah, I could go on and on about like risk and what actually makes like good traders and bad. And to be honest, a lot of people use this strategy that I use, which is the silver bullet, which is a super awesome strategy. But what people don't understand is that since this happens every day, you have to risk so little. You have to risk a little because you're going to because it happens every day. You're gonna like take multiple trades over and over and over. So um, it's just that's just the name of the game. So yeah. I'll wrap up the stream there. I'm gonna shower and I'm gonna well, I'm not gonna but I'm just gonna take care of everything. I have errands. I'm gonna go to work and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I will catch you guys in a little bit. Probably tomorrow. So we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Friday, and so market should be a little bit more volatile. I mean, what's happened this week already is that this gap has been filled, and so there's not really um, much like resistance on the upside since we've already traded all the way up here. So I can expect price to just, really just continue bouncing towards the upside, right? Let me see what those. All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up today. Have a good one. Yep, have a good one, guys. And Darius J, if you're here, I don't know if you're still here yet, but I'm using Tradeovate, and I linked up my Tradeovate with my trading view. So that's what I'm using. And it's a live account. It's just like No prop firm, no challenge, no nothing. It's just my cash, my own cash. So yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one.